Stormtrooper. So anyway, that's what we're saying about it. So Josh.
And I said you can't park that there.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, the Death Star. You couldn't with a cucumber anyway. Oh, we're live. How is everybody?
Hey, Nigel from the North Pole.
Salutations, everybody.
Nigel, you all right, mate? Nigel from the North Pole. Hello, Nigel from the North Pole. You all right, dude?
Wait a minute. Neither of you assholes are wearing green. And you're Irish. I mean, what? I wish I could pinch you right through the camera.
I've got Paddy's Day boxer shorts on. And what you cannot see.
Oh, no, that don't lie.
Hang on. My missus is picking up a Guinness for me as we speak. Hang on. Oh, shit.
I'm not going to wear green because I don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Right, move.
Well, you're lucky I can't pinch you from America.
I don't even celebrate St. George's Day, so why would I celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
That's the yeah, these are the Beanie Babies, and one was my dad's, and one was my mum's, and I keep them. So yeah.
Hi, Noreen.
I'll just put them back up. Hi, Noreen, you all right?
I just think it's an excuse to go out and get drunk.
I'm from Wisconsin, so we'll take it.
I used to celebrate
St. Patty's Day, Christmas, the wind changes direction, sky's blue, all reasons.
What I normally do is every Paddy's Day, I have a Guinness for my dad. And I completely forgot it was St. Patrick's Day until Josh reminded me. And I was like, fuck, I haven't got any Guinness. And hopefully Rachel has just picked one up for me, I hope, because I did message her.
I feel like it used to be a lot bigger deal than it is since COVID.
It's a bigger deal in obviously Ireland and America than it is in the UK because, like,
right.
Me, I used to take my dad out when he was alive. We used to go to the pub every Paddy's Day, and he'd come out and get mashed. But
speak to yourself.
I literally didn't see anybody wearing green in school today.
Katie,
and we were all back.
You want to hoss it down to Colchester in your helicopter? Then you'll see a lot of them up in town at this very moment, getting completely hammered on Guinness.
Yeah,
because down here they see it as an excuse to get completely hammered.
I tell you what, you get hammered on Guinness, your arse knows about it the next day. Fuck me, you shit uphill. But yeah. I'm talking of Irish. What we're going to talk about tonight, our topic that we try and stay to until we go off on a tangent and start ranting about governments and UFOs and shit.
Like 5 minutes from now.
Yeah. Is Irish mythology and the Tuatha De Danann, which were the Fae, and the Tuatha De Danann were the ones that went and lived underground. So we will talk about them in a minute.
Brazil.
Yeah. So, what has everybody been up to? Apart from school.
Nothing.
Redecorating my stairs.
I've been cleaning an engine, ready to strip down my old motorbike and swap engines and get her back alive and running. So I've been cleaning that and covering myself in gunk and shit. So that's been interesting. Can you stop jumping on the bed, please, young man? Thank you. I have cats going between and Ghost alive and well over there in the corner having a drink of water. And of course, Ghost is our paranormal pooch. For those of you who don't know, she's a big white Wolof German Shepherd. So if you could drink less loud, she has a drink of water and then she looks at me, goes yeah, and walks off and just. So, and how is things in the world of Josh?
All right. I mean, I've been immersed in bikes still. I had spring break last week. Kind of was a little relaxing. Got caught up on all the dad stuff and household work.
That's a bugger being getting caught up in dad stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. We're working on dirt bikes today. So
you should be
during all the electrical end.
You should be over at dirt bikes are easy. It's going normally 2-stroke, isn't they? You should be over here, mate. I'm seriously thinking of starting my bike business back up again. Seriously thinking about it. But because I used to have one years ago, and I'm thinking about going back into it again. But yeah. Anyway, who is Kate Frazzy who says hello to Josh but doesn't say hello to the rest of us? That's not. Can you not do that to my?
That's because Kate is over the other side of the pond.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Just say hello. Damn it.
You said yo-yo.
Kate's a part of the Things Network.
Yeah, I know Katie's. I'm just pissing her out. Could have said hello.
So yes, Kate, hi to me and Mark would be nice.
It would.
They're old, Kate. They just don't understand yo-yo in our, era means hi.
Oh, yo.
Yeah, yo.
So you say yo over here, and somebody will go, oh, well, I used to play with those when I was a child,
She is literally from your side of the pond, though.
Yeah, because Kate's a fellow British, it should be you.
You all right? You want a brew? Yeah.
Oh, mate.
I'm getting used to the lingo up there because I moved to Yorkshire, and you can't tell with my accent, but because I moved to Yorkshire, it's all up, ferrets, whippets, flat caps, near Mr. Wilkes. So I'm still getting used to that. And any other people from Yorkshire are going to be watching this going, bastard.
It's funny though when you talk about accents, because when we went over to see my mum and dad in Corfu last year, we went through the security, and Ellen was in front of me.
Yeah.
And she turned around to me and she went, Wayne, it's Danny Dyer. And I turned and he's literally sitting right next to where I was standing.
Oh,
I went,
yeah.
All right, Danny. And he went, oh, mate.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
I just carried on walking. And he's like, oh, mate.
I met him once when I lived in London, in Ealing. I met him once in Tesco's in Ealing, and he was in front of me at the queue. And I didn't suss until he turned around and looked at me, and I went, it's fucking you. And he went, it fucking is. I went, you all right? You all right? Yeah. And then he carried on. He was buying a bottle of whiskey, I think. So, yeah. Pickle Tom. Pickle Tom. Is this the new charm on here now? Is it
nah. Mark obviously doesn't watch the Mystical Carousel show.
Normally when you do it, I'm doing other stuff because I do the TA and I do the cadets. And I may have boxing coming up as well, so yeah.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. I sat next to Michael Caine on the tube train once.
I just said to blow the bloody doors off.
Did you know he never said that?
No, he didn't.
No, he never said that. I still think it's very good.
It's the caption that the comedians use, isn't it?
That's right. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Wayne, you sound just like Michael Caine if you didn't know. Yeah. You should have. Hello, Mrs. Wayne. You should have.
Maybe.
How many times have you got to be told? It's Pikachu.
Pikachu. Oh, I had one for you today.
Go on.
We had a discussion about why our energy is different with batteries compared to England, and that was. You know this one.
Why you're
that,
over there?
Our motorbike batteries run completely opposite of yours. Like the frequency is completely backwards, and everybody's all like, "England's wrong." What?
What volts are they?
Well, it varies. It's just how the battery cables are set up are like reversed because our polarities are like reversed in the US compared to yours.
Ah, right. That's because you're all fucking weird over there. Jesus, you know.
You're all fucking weird.
There you are. You can't. They're trousers.
Pants.
Fanny
Pants.
packs.
And you use the word wanker, but you don't say it with an English accent, so it loses its impact. When you say wanker, you got to do it in an English accent. You can't be like, "Oh my god, you're such a wanker." You got to go.
Nobody says that yet.
Like that. You got to do it like that. And as for the C word, you got to sound like a ballistic Cockney when you do it. You got to shout out, "You can't," because then
Yeah, we get a lot more trouble than you guys when it comes to that word.
Their lives yet. The calendar's still going.
What?
So I think Ellen's thinking of registering a complaint.
No. I'm just wondering how you've not been thrown off your lives yet with the amount of stuff that comes out. I'm just like, oh my god.
Ellen, how long have we known each other?
4 years?
For bloody years. And Wayne's known me for donkey's years. And to be absolutely honest, I have to look at the Irish thing as I'm Irish, and I'm suave and debonair. And Rachel will turn around and slap me and say, "Wake up, Mark, you dozy buggy." You're not like that at all. But we swear a lot. I try and get Wayne to corpse on every episode where he just starts pissing himself laughing. Literally, he whittles. He's got adult pull-ups. And then Josh occasionally will come on the show after he's had a smoke, and he's like, "Hello!" And he'll come on the show, and he's like,
I don't know what you're talking about. That's just how I talk, man.
This is why the show is popular, because when we did it on all the other formats before you came along, Josh, and before Wayne,
There's just one guy screaming aliens for a half hour.
I haven't done that today. I will do. That's why my nickname's Alien Guy. But
you're Wayne Sheldon. You're Wayne. That's your name.
Over here, it's also
you're twins. You're twins.
Are you both called Wayne Seddon?
Yeah, yes, they are. They're brothers.
Why does mine say Wayne Seddon?
I don't know. You're the main holder. Why? It asks you every time in the beginning too. Is this your name? And you must have been.
We're We're Michael Keaton in Multiplicity.
You logged out.
We're split into two. Hey Tom, we class it as see you next Tuesday. Not can't understand normal thinking. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Oh, you should have changed it to Kate Frazzy.
Frazzy, Tom Nally, and who else is on here? I saw somebody else on there earlier who's a regular of ours. Where is she? Noreen or Nigel. We could have you on here as well. I don't know. Yes, we need to get some guests on, I think. Maybe a couple of nutters, but not too nutty. People who understand the UFO world and all the shit that's going on at the moment. I think that would be interesting to come on there. Ghost, are you going to come up on the bed?
I think it would be interesting because then they'll be able to teach us something.
Everything has gone quiet, and everything of it's just to catch you up on the week in the UFO news with aliens and shit like that. There you go. I got it. It out. Everybody had their aliens for this week. Literally the same as it has been since the drones have died a death. It's gone to people saying this is going to happen, that's going to happen, it's going to be this year. They have moved it forward 2 years from 2027 to 2025 because they're sick and tired and fed up of how the governments have slowed the process up and are stalling. And the only reason the stalling and this crap is coming on is because No one cares that they lied, but it's all the things that have been hidden because of the almighty dollar and almighty pound. That's what the Bobbermans are shitting themselves about. So you'd like to be on one time. My dad's a ufolo. I thought you said your dad is a urologist, and I was just about to go, why do you want someone who deals with pits on here? But yes, that's fine. You can come on. Yes, that's fine. Let one of us know.
Golden episode.
Eh? The golden episode, you dirty bastard. But yeah, so there's nothing been going on. There's just, if you look down the rabbit holes, there's supposed to be some new photos out on.
Yeah, I thought there was supposed to be a mothership coming to you guys today. It was all over TikTok.
I've seen it on TikTok. But it's sitting in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, there's nothing here.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely fuck all here. And I was out earlier, and there are some interesting photos that are surfacing now. And they've urologists would be more useful.
Right.
But yeah, have you seen the photos that were released on, was it 4chan? of the downed UFO that soldiers came and took. Have you seen any of them? To me, it looks like fiberglass because it's got a hole in it, and where the hole is, they've taken a photo of the hole. It's been shot down or something. And it looks like fiberglass. It doesn't look like UFO tech. It really, really doesn't. If our cousins from other planets are going to be out there, they ain't going to fucking fly here in something that's made out of fiberglass. I'll tell you that.
Right?
So,
can you imagine if it was though? Just like a bunch of just cheap shit, like 80s props coming to attack us.
In all fairness, they could have crashed somewhere else, used fiberglass to fix the damage, taken off again, only for it to break down again. And so they crashed twice.
and this, ladies and gentlemen, is without any drugs.
Maybe the fiberglass is alien tech.
Have a look.
I'll have
a look for the released photos, and I'll put them up on the Dark Mirror show because I'm looking at them today. Some of them are all right, but like I say, when it zooms in on the damage, it's like. And I've also noticed there's been a lot of things with the Pope. There's been people from the papacy saying again about how we need to respect people from other planets' gods because they will be religious too. And it's like, why are they saying this again? You wish you had 1/8 of my energy. What's your secret?
Okay.
Mental health issues. Mental health issues. Drugs.
Me and Mark now are actually dragging out the dregs of our energy tanks at the moment because it's 10 to 10 at night.
This is if you've not seen the Dark Mirror radio show before, this is how it is. This is what I was trying to explain before. When we did it before, we had like a set format where we would talk about a set subject. We'd go spend the whole time talking about it. And then we'd because I used to do it on various different formats of various people. And then they decided to close the show down and gave us a week's notice. And I was like, fuck. And I left it a year and I was like, well, can I have the show? Can I own the show and do it how I want to do it? Because I always made my old co-host's corpse with laughter because I'd always, and the whole reason I got known as the alien guy is because can you stop making the camera bounce? I need to find a link to aliens through anything we talked about. So, and then I started to show up again, and I started doing it with my daughter, and then the silly girl got herself pregnant and couldn't do it anymore. So, love you, Taylor. And then I asked Wayne if he would like to do it with me, and then we started doing it in various formats, didn't it? And then we found it boring because I'm always like this. And then we just did it like this, where we talk about everything, but we have a subject that we try and stick to. So, and then sometimes we do stick to it, sometimes we don't. It just fucking depends. You never know what's going to come out of any of our mouths. Josh is so laid back. Sometimes he's asleep, but he is Josh the Beard. And then you've got Wayne Kanori. It is. It's you're half fucking wolf, man. And then you know, and then of course it's me who's the god of the whole thing.
Stop telling them. Stop telling them why I'm the cryptid guy.
So you've got the aliens, the aliens guy, the cryptid guy, and then you've got the boo guy up there. He's the boo guy.
What was that, Wayne?
Blue guy, aliens guy. And there you go. This has been the best format of the Dark Mirror radio show. It's taken off, not just on here, but it's taken off on various different formats. And I'm still trying to get it to come up on TikTok. But that's enough about my private life. There's a joke there. Did you get that? So yes, we try and talk about stuff. And what we said today is because it's St. Patrick's Day, we're going to talk about some of the Irish monsters and legends, because I'm Irish. You can't tell, but I have an Irish passport, so I'm Irish. I have Irish nationality. I was born in Hong Kong to an Irish father and an English mother, who unfortunately are no longer with us. So every Paddy's Day, I try and raise a glass to my dad for Paddy's Day, and my mum only died May last year, so I got to find something to raise to her because missed them. But yeah, so today we're going to talk about Irish stuff, well, Irish legends. And for those of you who don't know, the Fae, or the Tuatha De Danann, they were supposed to be the original inhabitants of Ireland, and then they had a massive scrap, and I'm trying to think who they had a massive scrap with, and I'm just looking down my list here to see if I can find who they had a scrap with. So let's talk about the origins of the Fae in Irish mythology. Wayne's going, I didn't look anything up. I was too busy painting. I'm just going to sit here and be quiet. And then Josh knows some stuff about it, I think, don't you?
Yeah, I'll just come in when we sort of go down rabbit holes.
All right.
I've seen the Leprechaun movie.
The Fae basically have been the cornerstone of Irish mythology, and the Fae are very international. Yeah, the Fae are all over the world, and what you forget is there's an island called High Brazil, and those of you in the paranormal world will have heard of High Brazil, and it's an island that appears off the coast of Southern Ireland, and it disappears, and it comes back, and it disappears, and it comes back.
So I want to ask you this: do you think the Duende belong to the Fae species?
I think that I don't think it's necessarily an island. It's where the Fae came from. But
I said the Duende, their Spanish cousins. Do you think they're all one in the same category, or do you think that's like a subspecies?
I think because every culture. Oh, there's my daughter. There's my other daughter, Becky. Watching this. Hey, Becky, you all right, darling? That's my oldest daughter.
Hey, Becky.
Yeah, the Fae, that every single culture has its own version of the Fae, and it's like we've said before about the gods, because I don't believe in a single secular god. I believe there is still gods, plural, and there were, purely because when you look at the different civilizations, they all had a Parthenon of gods, which is like a group, and you all had the head god, and then all the others that did various different things. And although the names get changed in the civilizations and the way they look, they're still the same people, and they still do the same jobs. So I think when you look at all the ancient texts, and we've spoken about this so many times, when you look at all the ancient texts, scrolls, religious texts, everything, including the Emerald Scrolls of Thoth, I think they were people from other planets, maybe our cousins, or they could have been precursors to us. I don't know, but they had tech way in advance of us. And then when we came along, because we were genetically altered to be self-aware and start doing farming and shit, and it's been proved in medical journals that we were genetically altered about 25 to 50,000 years ago. So I think that the gods and all the legends of the gods were these mystical beings from either other planets or precursors to us. And then as we started getting more and more prolific around the world, because we're a warring race, which is shit, they went, nah, fuck this, and they had the doorways, and they went through their doorways, and I think that's where the legends of them going and living underground come from. Is I don't think they live underground. I think they went through a doorway and literally went to their parallel dimension, which is less than an atom's width away from us. But because we don't have the technology to access it yet, they're there, and that's why you get all the legends and talks of doorways. Like even Skinwalker Ranch talks about there being doorways there, and I'm a firm believer that there are doorways or soft places. And as you know about Samhain and Halloween and All Hallows Eve and all that sort of stuff, that's the time when the veils are thin. It doesn't mean the veils are thin, it means we're lined up with these doorways, and then things can come through or things can go back. And I reckon High Brazil was it is an island, but I think it was some sort of vehicle, something like that, that could have been used, and they were originally on there, and then they settled on Ireland, and then when they decided they were going to bugger off, they went back onto High Brazil and went for a portal. So, and I reckon that's why you've got so many different mythological beasts, this, that, and the other. And I think all the mythological beasts and stuff come from the same realm that all the Fae and everything else, and the old gods, the Celtic gods and everything, have gone to.
I mean, it could be that High Brazil is actually an island, but in their dimension. So, from the point of view of somebody standing on southern tip of Ireland, looking out, if the veil is at its weakest and that portal opens so you can actually see it, then they're looking through that portal into that different dimension, and that's why they can see High Brazil.
That's very plausible.
It's a bit like launching a rocket to the moon or Mars. You've got to launch it when both the moon or Mars is at its closest point to Earth, so you're not using so much fuel. So that would be the same with the veil between us and the next dimension where High Brazil would be.
And they would have had the technology to be able to do something big enough to go, can you stop wobbling the camera? To go through and go over there.
There's also the possibility of like abstracting the light of the island, that it very much could be a physical place that is just hidden from us.
They could have
there's a lot of that
things to mask it. The possibilities are actually endless, and it's like I've as I've always said, the whole reason why we do the show originally is, and the thing that got me into the paranormal is everybody has their own story why they got into the paranormal, but for me it's legends and mythology, is because every single story from mythology and legends and stuff like that has to have had the original spark that started that story, and it's that original spark that gets me going down various different bloody rabbit holes all over the place trying to find the truth. And it's that's what I love, because I think there's so much more out there that we don't know, and we only see like 30% of everything we can see with our eyes. We only hear 30% of everything. We don't see and hear half the stuff that's actually there. And I do think that people are born with I can't remember what that bloody bit of the brain is that gets calcification on it, but some people have that, and I think they can see.
Third eye, are you talking about?
No, that's your third eye, because I use that in when I use chi and stuff. There's a bit in your brain. It'll come to me what it's called, but it's been shown that over time, fluoride in water.
Pineal gland.
Yeah, that's it. Pineal gland.
That's the same as your third eye.
I thought the pineal glands, but back here between the two bits.
It's like that's why the shape of like the horse eye is.
Oh, of course, like, yeah, I'm looking up my ass. Yeah, it is your third eye, yeah. But they think that over time it calcifies with all the modern day crap we have. And they think that certain bobberments know about this. And that's why they like to try and calcify it, because it dumbs down our powers of where we can see things and hear things. And I think people that are genuinely clairaudient or clairsentient or clairvoyant, and Wayne will tell you and Josh will tell you, in all my years of experience, I've only ever known a couple. No, I'd say one handful, because it ain't going to be that fucking hand, is it? I'd only know a handful that I would say are genuine, and the rest I've always thought just talk out their asses. I have two daughters, two beautiful daughters, and they're both clairaudient and clairsentient. And you can always tell the real ones from the fake ones, because you always know when somebody's trying to cold read you. So I do think that people who don't have the calcification are genuine. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, we look at it. I mean, people are looking at things like fluoride in the water and things like that. You know, could it be? And this will be going down the conspiracy route. Could they be putting something in the water to stop people from having the ability to do things like that?
I'll take it a step further. I remember my dad going through water heaters because of the calcium in our water, and especially when we used to live in the city in the 90s, where he was shoveling rocks out and he was getting pissed about it. I mean, it's never was like that in the country, but I was in the city. Run through them water heaters a lot faster, and then
Yeah.
literally cause stones of calcification inside. It's wild.
Well, they say that they add it because it's better for us, and it's like, well, I don't think we decided it was better for us. You
Well,
just
now
said-
they're starting to do lawsuits over it over here in the U.S. about it, and they're talking about removing it.
Yeah, they are starting to now say that it's actually dangerous, but too much of it's dangerous because we have it in toothpaste as well.
That's right.
Yeah, but that was the whole thing too. It was, I think, the big gimmick in the '90s that it was protecting our teeth, and now actually they're starting to believe that it's causing cavities.
Yeah.
You're more.
I thought,
What a way to employ dentists!
eh?
What a way to keep dentists in a job.
Right.
Don't
I
even
mean,
get
that's
me
a
started on dentists.
conversation in itself too. I mean, less than 70 years ago, the guy that cut your hair and your beard also dealt with your teeth, and you know, you
Yeah.
paid him like a you tipped him like a nickel, and you just kind of hung out, and now he's a doctor. So I mean,
That's why they put the stripy
what
pole.
happened?
Yeah. That's why they have the stripy pole, isn't it? Because it's the red on there was for they did medical and dentistry as well, didn't they?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've heard rumours that Josh has a stripy pole, but that was just a message his missus sent me one day and said, "What can I do about it?" And I did say, "Go and see the doctor, get some lotion, it'll clear up." But it's got something to do with him being part Wolfman. But I digress. So anyway, the Fae. I genuinely think the Fae, like the gods, all the Fae and the legends and mythological beasts you get everywhere. I think they're the same beings from the same realms. And like when you and we've said about this before with the religious books, when you've got angels and demons, I don't think they're actually angels and demons. I think they were warring aliens, warring
So
precursors.
fairies and leprechauns are the same thing then?
No, leprechauns. Leprechauns come under it. They're part of the Fae, but they're the mischievous part of the Fae. So anyway, the Fae were defeated by the Milesians, and the Milesians were the precursors to the original Irish. When they were defeated by the Milesians, they went and lived underground. And when they have you heard of the word Shide?
No.
No, right. Shide it's an Irish word, it's Gaelic. Like Céimilefoiche and stuff like that. Shide means people of the mound, because when the Tuatha De Danann went underground, all these mounds started to appear everywhere, fairy rings, mounds, this, that, and the other, and they became known as the Shide, the people that live under the ground. But they were benevolent and they help us, and this, that, and the other, and they still to this day help us. But I do think that all the Fae, when you look at the characteristics of all the different things, you've got leprechauns and stuff like that, and then you need to look at Nordic gnomes. Right, look at Nordic gnomes and look at some of the things they do, and then look at the leprechauns. Although they dress differently, and there's different types of leprechauns. You've also got hobgoblins as well in Irish folklore, amongst other things, and they dress differently and they do different things. But I think they're the same people, or the same.
See, but the
race.
thing is, there's a story where Loki and Thor are in another dimension traveling, and they come across something that seems like the Fae. And Loki's like, don't even deal with them. They don't want to deal with us. So I think there's something different between the gnomes and like the Nordic gnomes and the Fae. Like they have their own thing that's like similar, and that has to do with like the light and the dark.
Yeah. The Fae live on the edge because we've had various different religions and civilizations. Ghost, lie down. Stop it. Just lie down. She go boingy, 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 boingy. You want to come here and say hello, Ghost? Come here. Come here. Oh, you big soppy. Look. That way. There you go. There's the ghost. This is what keeps wobbling the camera. Is this young lady here? This big white wolf. Yeah, and she's the paranormal pooch of this. Right? Are you done? Are you done? You're gonna be a tart and lie on my lap. You be a tart and lie on my lap. You be But yeah, I think everything that we think of as mysterious and this, that, and the other, I think everything's just misunderstood, misinterpreted. The same with the gods flying around in their vimanas and UFOs and flaming chariots and this, that, and the other. It was UFOs. It was spaceships. They were having a scrap in the sky. There's again, we've spoken about it before. There's evidence of thermonuclear strikes all throughout Asia, all throughout the world. There's big fuck off craters that weren't done by asteroid strikes. They were done by some kind of energy weapon, and it's still got the traces there of the energy, and that's fact. So how the hell did that get up there millions of years ago? They found the remains of a 1.5 million year old nuclear reactor. They found depleted uranium, haven't they? And what that was it a million years old? The depleted uranium, yeah. And you only get it through a man-made process. It doesn't appear in nature. You can only get it through that.
There was the building project in India as well when they were building. I think they were building a village, and they had to do the foundations. So they started digging down, and they dug down to what the equivalent was, something like 1,500 years or something.
That's right.
And they discovered sand down there that had solidified into glass, which obviously means intense heat, but was also quite still radioactive.
That's right, yeah.
And they said that the only way you would have got this combination of things would have been a nuclear blast. Well, obviously, and nuclear weapons weren't invented until the Second World War.
Yeah, shot glass.
So where has that come from?
And they also found the village of one of the head gods in Indian culture, didn't they? And it was just off the coast, and all the legends had said it was there, and everybody went, nah, it's all myths, all legends. They found it, like under the desert in the Sahara and stuff like that. They think that there is the remains of precursors, the gods, whatever, villages down there.
There's bound to be plenty of towns, cities, and villages underneath the Sahara Desert. Because the Sahara Desert wasn't always a desert.
Hey?
So, there's so much possibilities now with the new technology of the LiDAR lasers, where you can just check underground without having to dig, and it maps out everything. So it'd be interesting to see that.
It's possible, but I mean, the problem is it's the Sahara Desert.
Right.
Would you want to spend months on end using LiDAR to try and discover where there's a city underneath your feet?
Well, they said that most of the deserts shouldn't be deserts. They weren't natural. There was something happened to turn them into deserts, and it wasn't just like the weather turning and the temperatures turning and this, that, and the other. They think something actually happened because they keep finding again, bloody cats, this shock glass everywhere, especially in the desert, and especially in the Gobi Desert. You got to remember, in the Gobi Desert, that goes on to China and Asia as well. And China and Asia have had a symbiont relationship with aliens and people from other planets. So, that again tells you something. Look at all the old religious texts. Look at all the old scrolls, and all of them say about a massive scrap between the good aliens and the bad aliens, and the good ones made us. They took their essence, their DNA, put it in the native hominid species, and made the first Adamu, the first man. That's where you get Adam from. Eden wasn't actually a garden. It was a scientific place. Eden was where they had the first Adamu and were experimenting and doing all these things and trying to get the right hybridized version of us. And that's what they think Eden was. They think that the Eye of the Sahara may have been the remains of Atlantis, don't they? And they also think, this is leading nicely back to the deserts and everything, that the Atlantis and several other of these great cities that were all around the world, because there wasn't lots of them, but they were all linked. When Atlantis went up, the one that was where the Sahara is went up. The one that was where I think it's part of the Gobi is went up. One in Antarctica went up. They all went bang. And they've since found remains and remnants of advanced civilizations. And they've got the advanced city that was found in Antarctica. That was all hushed up when all the heads of state were taken over there to go and have a look. Why do you think they're bringing forward all this information about UFOs and aliens and advanced civilizations? And it's come to a head now where they have to admit the truth and tell us the truth, because our cousins from elsewhere have said, we're coming back. We're going to deal with things. You tell them that we're coming. You tell them that you've been dealing with us all this time. And that's where the Fae, that's where the mystical beasts, and that's where everything comes from. They all come from just the land beyond.
Like I said before, I don't think it'll be probably never in our lifetime we'll get full disclosure from any government.
It'd be nice.
If ever in anybody's lifetime. I feel like something major would have to happen, like AI would have to seize power or something with that extent for like
Hi, Aaron.
disclosure.
I think yeah, I think you're right. The only thing, because they keep saying, oh, it's this and oh, it's that and oh, blah 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 blah, and they keep dropping little snippets, little drip feeding us, and little bit. I'm so sorry about the dog in the background. That's not my dog. Yeah, they keep dropping all these little snippets and bits, but I don't think they will ever actually come out and tell the truth unless our cousins, family from other planets come here en masse and go, we're here. You can all see us. We told you to tell everybody. You haven't. Now we're here. We're forcing your hand. Tell them. And that needs to happen. It really needs to happen. You know?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it could even be to a point. I imagine we could probably wrong another species, keep lying about it, get attacked by that said species, and our government in the U.S. would definitely be like, we have no idea who this is or why they're attacking us.
Yeah, exactly.
But we have all this new kind of energy just out of nowhere that we invented. Space gas.
A legend and stuff on the dark web has come up saying there is a 0-point module that's going to be released.
I think that's what had to do with a lot of the drones, at least over the U.S.
Yeah, there's rumor has it they were operating off 0-point energy packs. The Fae and everybody like that, the doorways that they can come to and interact in, I think, and again, this is my own hypothesis, I'm not mental or anything, it's just putting two and two together. I think those are stargates. Because the whole again, it's a rumor, but the whole reason
I don't know.
Well, the first Iraq war was supposed to have started because they had a Stargate, and the U.S. bombardment went, we're having that, and that's why the war started.
I think so, that too, but I don't think that's how the Fae do it, and like Bigfoots and stuff. I think it's something with your pineal gland. I think it's some sort of meditation, almost like using your chi. It's unlocking a certain part of your brain that allows you to do this.
I think you can slide left and right into the next bit, the next dimension, because it's like an onion, isn't it? I think if you've got that ability, you can slide. And I think that's why there's a lot of sightings of various.
We probably have that ability too. Just
I think we all do.
Shut off.
We all, yeah. And do you know why we get shut? Our abilities get shut off. It's because as kids, as little kids. Well, you know, when we're little kids, we have imaginary friends, and we can see things, and we're much more open. The pineal gland is much more open to see things that we cannot see as adults. And we're always told, ghosts don't exist. Not you, ghosts, because you exist, because you're right here.
I covered this with a couple of MUFON people as well, agents, that, believe it or not, there's more children abductees than there are adults. There's more children's cases because they're open. I mean, a lot of the stories too, like on TikTok, you hear about so and so saw a duende or a fairy. They saw it as a child.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer, because we're told as we're growing up, that's not real. This isn't real. There's only one God. You must do this. You must do that. If you believe in anything else, you're a sinner and you're going to go to hell and this, that, and the other. It's rules to rule man, written by man.
Yeah.
And that's what the Bible, so many things were left out of it because people would go, hang on a minute, you said this. And that's why they left things out, like Mary Magdalene's Bible. She had a Bible that was supposed to have gone in there. They left it out. The whole fact that Jesus has a bloodline, and he's got ascendants now. He's got descendants now from his bloodline that are real, that exist. But if people knew about it, you have the zealots or people from certain religions trying to take them out, because how dare you assume that Christ had sex? You know, of course he did. He was a man. You know.
Oh, I think too, a lot of it probably was that his disciples probably did this for him. You know what I mean? Even after he's gone, we're like, oh, we got to protect them. We got to protect the family.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Think about.
I'm sorry, I was just reading what Irene said. The other night we had weird flickering lights in the sky and military helicopters were flying around. I'm near the airport, but all international flights have already left at 5 p.m. It was so weird, and it wasn't any commercial flight leaving Haneda at that time. Irene is a fellow podcaster who lives over in Japan, and she does Spooky Japan, so check it out. But yeah, I do think that everything we see, all the legends, there is a basis for them, there is a spark from them, And I think individual creatures, Fae, have that ability to shift with the pineal gland or whatever evolved from their race. They have that ability. That's from their evolutions. But I also think that they have the ability to move items and stuff through stargates, because you'd have to have that to move big things. And I think you may have the ability, they may have the technology to push whatever the energies of the Stargate are to surround big things like islands, ships, whatever. Because the Tuathas Danann were supposed to come to Island with Hy-Brasil and in big ships, flying ships and seaworthy ships. And then when they went, they took all their seaworthy ships, their airworthy ships, and the island of Hy-Brasil with them through doorways. So now, you know what you were saying about gnomes and leprechauns and stuff like that? I'll read
Yeah,
out
it's
a little
been a hot topic on TikTok this week.
Yeah.
That's why I brought it up. But I mean, the alien topic has been really hush hush, and it is St. Patrick's Day. So I mean, we can
Yes.
also chalk it up to that.
Yeah. Well, leprechauns come under the heading of tricksters and mischief makers. But the thing is, every civilization has little things, little fellas that go around creating mischief. You know, you've got guardians and protectors who are from the Fae. The Banshee, although the Banshee, when you hear her scream, somebody dies, she's warning you. She's warning you somebody's got impending doom. Try and sort it out. You know, she comes under guardians and protectors. You've also got things called domestic Fae. They're not really known very well, but they dwell in or around homes. Now, you would have heard these names.
Oh,
what?
These are really popular in Slavic lore. The house gnomes.
Yeah.
You're supposed to. I heard about them growing up. You're supposed to like feed them. If you piss off your house gnome, you basically have to move. But they're like they go from family to family.
Well,
I could do with a couple of them here to do the housework.
Yeah, I'll answer that in this. We'll answer that in a second, Kate.
I think hobgoblins is what they're referred to.
Hobgoblins are domestic Fae, and also brownies. And when I say brownies, I don't mean the ones that you eat and sit there and go, dude! And I don't mean the ones that dress up in uniforms, or is that's just your thing, isn't it, Wayne? Uniforms. Dress up as a copper. Over here we have brownies and cubs and girl guides and stuff like that. And brownies are like...
Oh, it's not like Girl Scouts?
Yeah.
Girl Scouts, yeah. They have that title here, too. It's one of them. It's brownies. I think it's like the real little kids.
Brownies and hobgoblins, as you know yourself, are normally in films. And then like the orcs and stuff like that, they're normally portrayed as negative, and they're not. Like I play a lot of games on Xbox because I'm a massive gamer, and I love fantasy games. And every time I've seen a brownie or a hobgoblin, they've always been negative, and they're not. They're there to help you. Piss them off, upset their land, and they will fuck you, and they will keep fucking you until you leave, like you said, and it will come down through the generations. You've also got malevolent Fae. Do you know of any of those? The real nasty buggers.
The what, Fae?
Underwear gnomes?
Havoc.
The underwear gnomes? Like the underwear gnomes in South Park? The ones that steal your underwear?
Yeah. Oh,
I've got a couple of them here. Can never find mine.
Yeah.
Right? You have underwear gnomes.
Well, you've got one of them called the Dullahan. And the Dullahan. Now, I know the Dullahan from various sort of things that I've researched before, but I also know the Dullahan from... Have you ever played Final Fantasy games? Have you ever played any Final Fantasy games?
I don't know what that is, Mark.
Final Fantasy, it's a fucking game!
Oh, I didn't understand what you said. Final Fantasy. Yes. I played 7, 8, 10.
Right, you played 10. Do you remember there was a bad guy who was, as you were getting up the levels, he was a bastard to beat. And it was a thing that had no head, but it had like a face in its chest.
Don't remember that, but I know what being you're speaking of. There's stories of them all over, and they're like, they helped us win some battles too back in the day. And there used to be a whole island of these dudes. They're just like people with no heads, but their faces in their chest, right?
That's right, the Dullahan, yeah. They are nasty. You've also got Irish vampires and stuff like that. But one of the things I will go for is there's a thing called a puka. Puka, P-U-C-A. A puka is a shapeshifter, and it takes us on various animal forms, and it's always clad in a dark cloak, and it has the powers of human speech. And that reminds me of that mongoose that talks to people in the walls of that house. The puka delights in confusing, sometimes terrifying those who come across its path. But the puka will give you either good or bad fortune, or both, depending on the mood it's in. If you please it, it'll give you good fortune. If you piss it off, it'll give you bad fortune. If it wants to go, yeah, fuck you, it'll give you both. But that's what that talking mongoose does, doesn't it? I can't remember his name. That mongoose is supposed to do that as well. Now, yeah, you've got an Irish vampire. And by that, I don't mean Bram Stoker was a vampire, but it may be where he got his idea for the book about Dracula. Yeah. It's called the... Oh, I've got to try and pronounce this properly. Abhartach! Abhartach! What is this? It's the Abhartach. 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 And apparently, it's arguably the scariest of the Irish mythology creatures. The tale of Abhartach is one that's hard to debunk, and many believe that the story is actually based on fact. Let me have a quick look, and I'll find out about the Abhartach, the origin of the Abhartach. It all began. It was inside the pages. Right. That doesn't tell me how it started. That doesn't give me its legend either. Right, here we go.
No, I want to ask you this quick before you go on too far about it. Do you think that's where the song comes from? The devil died. The devil's buried in Carney. It's about him.
It could be. Could be. Well, anyway, the Abhartach is another word for dwarf. And there's a place in the parish of Errigal and Derry called Slatterverty. Slatterverty. But it's thought to have been called Lagtaverty, the lagged or sepulchral moment of the Abhartach or dwarf. And it explains, basically, there was a scrap, and there was a horrible, nasty dwarf that had magical powers. And there was a battle between a local chieftain. He was called Finn MacCumhall, but you may know him as Finn McCool. Now, Finn McCool was, in other Celtic legends, was a giant who had a scrap with the Scottish giant who was on the Giant's Causeway, and they threw rocks at each other, and that's why he got the Giant's Causeway. But anyway, this legendary chieftain killed the Abhartach and buried him upwards nearby, standing upright. Bram Stoker is buried upright, looking out to sea at Whitby Abbey, which is just down the road from where I live. The locals thought their luck had changed, but however, the next day, the dwarf was back, and he was twice as evil as he had been before. The chieftain returned, killed him again, and for a second time, he was buried upright. And again, he kept escaping and coming back. And the chieftain was like, what the fucking hell's going on? And a druid said to him, kill him again, but this time when it comes to burying him, he must be buried upside down. And the dwarf that believed that this would quench the dwarf's magic, the druid believed it would quench dwarf's magic, and that's why he kept returning. But it wasn't. If you fast forward to now, every time the Abhartach was killed, somebody would go near the grave, he'd reach up, grab it, take the blood. And that's what's
wild. The whole vampire legend too, you're supposed to bury them face down so they dig their way further into the earth.
That's right.
That's probably where that comes from.
That's where the Irish mythology of that comes from, is the Abhartach. Can you imagine a vampire dwarf?
He wouldn't be biting you on the neck, he'd be biting you on the knee.
We got a movie script for Peter Dinklage now.
What?
Guy from Game of Thrones. We got a movie script for Peter Dinklage now.
We have. It could be the Abhartach.
Right? It's a guy from Game of Thrones.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it? That'd be fucking awesome. Peter! Where would he bite? I mean, what would happen if
there's only one spot?
It'll be the little vampire all over again.
Well, if it was a vampire dwarf, I can only think of one thing, and most men would be walking around with a codpiece made out of silver. So, yeah. Anyway, You've also got the fairies.
Like Gus comes on, he's got the gun ones.
You see, this is why.
Anyway, that
That
guy from Game of Thrones probably won't ever get cast into that character, because if it's anything to do with Disney, it'll be AI instead. Because that's what they've done with Snow White. All the dwarves are AI characters.
It's been slammed to fuck, that film. It's been slammed. All the new Disney films are being slammed because they're doing them too woke. People are sick.
That's because Disney have run out of original stories, so they're taking the cartoons and they're making real life action with them. And because of the woke generation, they've got to.
They fired her.
Fuck it all up.
They're replacing the woke people now, including Katie Catherine, or whatever her name is, the one that does Star Wars. South Park had a good kick at her, Put a chick in it and make it gay.
I am so sick of the woke culture. As we've said this before, and we've had a show about it when we shouldn't have done. None of us here give a shit if you're gay. No one cares. No. If you're gay, good for you. If you're bi, good for you. If you're lesbian, good for you. If you're straight, good for you. But all these ones that turn around and say, you will pronounce me as they, them, she, her, fuck off.
No, it's not even that. Or you're going to pay for me to be this, and then you're going to listen to me, and I'm not going to like you because you're this way. So I'm entitled, blah, 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 blah. Give me what I want. That's what it is. It's just needy bullshit.
Yeah. And a lot of it is mental health. A lot of it is down to poor mental health. Again, I don't care what you are. I really don't. If you want to have Pride Week, crack on with it. I do think we need to have Straight Week, but now you've got Pride Month. And a lot of we all know a lot of gay people in the gay community between us. And none of them, all the ones that we know, do not like these woke ones. Yeah. No. And again, with trans people, I don't care if you're trans. If you were born and felt you were a woman inside and you've had the operation, I feel really sorry for you. You had to go through that to get to where you could feel comfortable in. Yeah. But now you feel comfortable, and that's good. And vice versa. But when you've got the ones who go, well, I don't know what I am. I don't know this. I don't know that. I'm going to take all these hormones. I'm going to make my kid, my baby. There was a thing of that one there, the baby that they were trying to feed the fucking hormones to. Who the hell do you think you are? That's child abuse. Let your kid grow up and make its own mind up what it wants to be. Stop fucking forcing your agendas on children, everybody else.
It does make it worse when you get people, and I've seen this recently. I think it actually came out originally last year or the year before, where a woman sued her parents for not asking for her permission to be conceived and born.
Yeah.
There you go.
And she won the case. And she won the case as well.
Utter bollocks. Utter bollocks.
How does that work? Can you ask some sperm and eggs to get permission to be formed into a group of cells, into a fetus, into a baby, into a living, breathing human being? No, you can't, because at that age they can't turn around and tell you whether they want to be born or not.
It's madness. It's complete.
And yet the judge allowed it.
All this woke shit is madness. I used to love watching Star Trek. What was the Star Trek one I used to like? Where the ship span and it could go poof to the other side of the galaxy. It was one of the new ones, and they had a black ship and it go and poof, zap to the other side of the galaxy. But they also found out it could go through time. But anyway, they started the woke stuff on that Disney, and it got worse and worse and worse every series. And it got to the point I had to stop watching it because it was just complete and utter bollocks. And now they're doing it with their films as well. And so many people are coming out saying, enough of it. Just stop. 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 We're sick of it. And yeah, and again, I think a lot of the woke culture is mental health. It's mental health issues that they need to address, Yeah. Sexuality is one thing. Woke culture is something completely else. Completely different, And this whole entitled, oh, well, you will adjust. No, fuck off, mate. We're all born the same. Apart from the little werewolf I just heard. We're all born the same. I've got one hand, one leg. I've got mental health issues. If you cut me, I'm still going to bleed red. Everybody does. But anyway, before we go, we will talk about the Daeg Du or the Daeg Ju. And again, it's another vampire. the Dig. Look at that. DEARG space DUE. She is a vampire, and her name means red bloodsucker, and she's a predator who seduces men only so she can drain their blood. And I'll give you a clue where she is known to drain her blood from. And I'll leave that in the air. And she's not a dwarf.
My left toe. My left big toe.
You nailed it. The left
that's
toe.
it, right?
And you know when we've said about dogmen and werewolves and everything, how every culture has them, but it gets hidden. The Irish haven't. You got the man wolves of Ossory. Is it Ossory? Ossory. The man wolves of Ossory. And they're the same. Yeah.
The Fianna, right? The Fianna.
Yeah. They're the same. They're everywhere, and they're still heard to this day. They're still heard to this day. There's still sightings of them to this day. I live in the Wolds Triangle. We get sightings of dogmen in various parts of the Wolds Triangle.
Are they red?
Yeah. So
all the fur, right? Like a fox.
It's but it's like me. I mean, I'm a hairy fucker. You wouldn't tell by my head, but hey. Oh, your question. Yes. Let me get back to that question there. It was, what would be the use of us knowing about full disclosure, wasn't it? What would the benefit of us knowing, though? Would it completely change society, or is it a threat? I don't think it's a threat. I don't think it completely changed society. I think the technology on benevolent ones, giving us some technology and helping us, would be brilliant. I also think them coming and giving our corrupt Bobbermans a kick up the arse and saying, sort yourselves out, is fucking needed. But I don't think it's a threat with the ones at the moment. From what I know about, again, there's a Galactic Council, Galactic Federation. There's supposed to be 2 lots that don't like us. One's the reptilians, and I can't remember what the other one is. But the majority of all different species like us and want to get on with us, and they want us to come out and join the Federation. So I think that'd be a really good thing.
I think with to add to Kate's answer, would it completely change society, or is it a threat? I think some people will see it as a threat, although it would be mainly to help humankind and to change society for the better. I think some people will see it as a threat and will try their damned hardest to stop it.
I think religion will have a lot to do with it as well. I think staunch religious people won't be able to accept it. But I do think a lot of us have woken up to the fact that they're real.
I think those within the defense community want disclosure to a point so they can perceive it as a threat, so they can further add to their bank account. I mean, there's this being that we do this and this and this, and we have no idea. But, if we take, instead of taking a third of your check, we take half your check, we can blow him up. Well, at least that's how it works here in the U.S.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, we have people like Luis Elizondo, and I think that's honestly what he's trying to do. That's his main goal. Is to be. It's never anything nice that he finds or happy. It's always this group. They're threatening. We need this and this resource.
Don't trust the Bobbermans, and anybody out there, just don't trust the Bobbermans. They haven't got our best interests at heart. They've got their own best interests at heart and their own pockets interests at heart. Mm-hmm. I'll leave that where it is. We talk about this a lot, and we go down various rabbit holes, and we know they don't have our interests at heart. Anyway, have you guys got anything you want to say before we finish?
No.
Oh, well, there you go. Josh?
I'm good.
You're
Bye,
good.
everybody.
Right, well, we will be back every Monday, 9:30 UK time, which is, what time is it your end?
4:30.
4:30, and that is that Eastern Standard Time? Was that Mountain Time or Pacific Time?
Central
Time. Oh, there you go. And we were always talking about, we're always talking about shit. We're always trying to let you get each other's word in end ways and stuff. But Wayne's been unusually quiet tonight. That's very, very unusual. I don't get that. I think he's up to something. Josh is looking very hairy, so I think tonight he's probably going down Bray Road.
Well, I was going
Talking
to.
about that is shame.
I was going to interject something when you said about finding stuff under the desert and things like that.
Yeah.
I remember the TikTok that I'd seen earlier on, but we'll have to leave that for another show
We'll talk about it next week.
because it goes back to these things like the misplaced artifacts.
Oh right, yeah.
And this particular one that I saw today, I'd never heard of before, but it dates back 312 million years.
What is it?
It's an cast iron cup
Oh,
that goes back 319 million years.
I've also heard of this story.
Comment from Josh. 319 million years.
319 million years.
We've had so many civilization ending events, end of life events, where we're humans 2.0, 3.0, 4.0.
Yeah.
We're the latest ones that were made by the precursors or aliens before us.
And I think this artifact actually is the oldest artifact I've known of that I've looked up in what I've researched. This is the oldest artifact that I have ever known of.
What?
I was reading it's 7:30, so it's like 7:30 Tuesday in Japan right now. It's just wild to think about.
Well, then next week we'll talk about out of place artifacts. Yeah.
Yeah.
That can be our main theme before we start going off on a rant about bobblements and everything. And hopefully we've had a full moon over here, so I suspect that's why Josh is so hairy. I think he goes out at night and goes down Bray Road.
I just got trimmed up.
On that note, remember, if you see anything, keep your eyes to the skies. If you see anything, send us an email at the Dark Mirror Radio Show at yahoo.co.uk or get hold of either myself, Wayne, or Josh on Facebook and Messenger. And just talk to us about it, or go onto the Dark Mirror Radio Show and send us it, and we will talk about it because there's so much stuff going on. Keep your eyes looking, and remember, it's only us people who know what's going on. And when I say woke, I don't mean I mean woke as in woke up. There's lots more shit going on. But if you are one of those and you see something, come and tell us. We will see you next week, 9:30, as per usual. And once again, thank you very much to our host from across the pond there who keeps up with everything with us that's going on over there. And thank you very much to Mr. Wayne for being here with us as usual. And we'll see you next week, guys. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye. Say bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye, guys.
Ooby-dooby-doo. We are out of here.